What is going on, my friends? My name's Corrupt, and it is time to talk about the best Th12 attack strategies. We're going to explain each and every part of these 5 attacks in order to give you guys an idea of how to use them, and we'll even talk about the variations and how you guys can apply those to a specific base too. Now, if you do enjoy this type of content and this style of content and you want to see more, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and ring the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my educational Clash of Clans content. Without further ado, let's get started. So starting off at number 5 is the DragBat. This attack strategy is very strong, but there are different things that you need to understand. So first, let's go over base identification. The things that you should be looking for in an attack are 4 different key objectives. This being the Eagle Artillery, multi-target Infernos, Wizard Towers, and the Town Hall. The Giga Tesla is going to be one of the biggest things that you need to take down. Now, this does work for relatively low-level heroes and also against lower-end Town Hall 12s. So you want to make sure that you are really taking a look at a base design for it. Now, depending on the Slammer or the Blimp, this is going to determine upon where the value is spread out. In an example like this one, like this base here, we are using the Battle Blimp because the Town Hall is on the opposite side of value. So we can get rid of this part of the base here with the dragons, while we then use the Blimp to get rid of the Town Hall, and that way we can use our bats on the other multi-target Inferno, since we've got just a single target Inferno and 2 multi-targets. However, it is different if you're using the Slammer. If you can get to the Town Hall very easily with the dragons, and there is value surrounding this, this is a great spot for you to use the Slammer, as you don't need to use the Blimp from the opposite side to get rid of the Town Hall. You can just use balloons in a Stone Slammer and use it a little bit more adjacent from your dragons to take down things like a multi-target Inferno. Now, that's going to give you guys a couple examples of really doing the attack and also the base identification. You may also want to look at the sweeper placement, and you may want to also consider using a lightning spell in order to get rid of the air sweepers, which could cause a problem. Other than that, though, that is the base identification necessary to use this attack. Now, for creating the funnel and using your dragons, you really want to make sure that you are using a Sui hero and or an E-Drag. Now, this is going to determine on what you're doing with your Sui hero, whether you're going to be using them on the same side or more spread apart, almost a split Sui hero. But what you're seeing here is using a Sui hero on one side, while using a couple balloons and an E-Drag on the other. Using a couple Coco Loons there in order to soak up any seeking air mines or traps from the outside will help provide more support for the E-Drag. Now, what you'll see from this base is that we've created enough of a funnel for these dragons to move straight in. We want to make sure that they're having easy pathing and moving straight into the base. That way we don't have to worry so much about them getting going onto the outside and not going to the key objectives. Now, as we send in the dragons, and we've created the funnel just enough so we can send them in, we want to make sure that we have the Warden right behind. We want to use the Rage spell as well in order to push the balloons and dragons through. Now, this is a very important part as well. Before the Blimp goes out of the range of the Warden, you want to use the Warden ability in order to protect it. That way, if there are any seeking air mines in the direction or a tornado trap, you will be completely fine because the Blimp will not take any damage from that. So as you can see, as you're pushing through, you've got the dragons still working themselves through the base, and we've gotten down all the key objectives that we needed to. The Blimp gets to the Town Hall. We can then also use Sneaky Goblins from that, along with the Dragon, to get rid of the Town Hall with ease. Now, outside of this, other than that, you will be using either a Bat Wave or Bat Bomb, depending on how much splash you've gotten rid of from the base, whether this be getting rid of all or most of the Wizard Towers and all that's left is a multi-target Inferno, or getting rid of all the splash. It's going to determine on this base design here. We've got ourselves the use of a Bat Bomb, which is using the Rage, Freeze, and then Bats. bats, and that way we're able to overwhelm the multi-target Inferno and get rid of as much of the splash as possible. So as the dragons continue to work and possibly distract the other defensive buildings, we want to go ahead and still drop free spells in case the dragon doesn't get to the wizard tower in time and the wizard tower still locks onto the bats. So those are going to be the couple things that you really need to look for. Other than that though, this is going to be your prime example of using DragBat. It's a very strong attack strategy, and without this is definitely one of the strongest. So that kind of gives you a good overview of using this attack, but we've got more attack strategies as well, so let's go ahead and take a look at number 4. For the number 4 attack, we've got ZapWitches. This is still a very strong attack strategy. There are a couple things that you definitely want to still consider when using witches at Town Hall 12. Consider that sometimes you may see triple multi-target infernos, so you may want to bring free spells for this. On top of this, you need to look at multi-target inferno placement. Take a look at this one. You can see that the multi-target infernos are a little bit more spread out, like you see here. So that way, what we're going to be able to do is sort of get rid of the multi-target infernos in these two compartments, and then charge in for the Eagle Artillery. We can then take care of the Town Hall with all the witches and skeletons moving into the core, and then we can get rid of the other multi-inferno with the heroes, along with a bunch of the skeletons and witches still in the core of the base. You want to treat this like you are doing this at Town Hall 13. You want to send them into the core because you want to overwhelm all those defenses, including the Town Hall, and you want to use the Warren ability to protect both the witches and skeletons, and that's exactly what you're trying to do. So for funneling, you want to use a couple balloons, maybe baby dragons, depending on how the base is designed. Here, we want to use these lightning spells, like I've mentioned before, in order to sort of get rid of the multi-target infernos. If they're single-target infernos, don't worry about them, but if they are multi-targets, try to deal with them in some way. Now right here, you'll see the use of balloons to get rid of the mortars here. This is going to establish a funnel for us. What we're doing is we're basically trying to cut this off in order to allow our witches to move right into the base. This is what we want to try and do. So we want to use balloons to get rid of the archer towers and the mortars there in order to create or allow ourselves to use the wizards on either side. Then we're going to be using the 1 or 2 golems. In this case, we're only bringing 1 because we're bringing 16 witches. After this, after you've created a funnel with the wizards and also with the balloons, you can go ahead and start sending in your witches. Notice that we are sending all of them into the core of the base, rather than keeping them on the outside, and of course, giant bombs being on the inside the base. We can still get through a large part of it by making sure that we're using the Warden ability to protect the witches as they push through. So you want to make sure that those witches are continuously producing those skeletons and allowing them to kind of move through the base, and you've got the wall wrecker to help you do that. As you continue to push through, you can use the free spells and the ice golem in the clan castle to freeze up everything, including the town hall. And as you continue to push through, you still got so many skeletons, and you can really use the free spell whenever. You can use it on the multi-inferno, but for the most part, you still have so many witches, so many skeletons up that you're able to easily take care of this. Now, one thing to consider is that how do you control your witches from going on to the outside? Well, if you can get rid of as many buildings as you can in the inferno compartments, like you see here, we got the only things we didn't get rid of are these buildings, but here we got rid of all of these buildings. So you want to try and get rid of as many as you can. Other than this though, it's a very simple attack. It doesn't take too much, and it's an easy attack to understand and to use. So definitely, if you guys want to see a video on this, let me know in the comments below. But that is going to be your breakdown, everything from base identification, funneling, and just sending in your witches to how you guys can really do this. So let's go ahead and move on into the number 3 attack to give you guys a really good idea of what you should be doing with this one. For the number 3 attack, we have got the Zap Dragons. Now, with this attack strategy, you want to look for a couple things, being air defenses. You want to try and look for air defenses in or near multi-target inferno compartments. This means that you want to make sure that you are also getting rid of some other buildings, not just the air defenses. So you want to get down other air targeting defenses like the multi-target infernos like you see here. By getting rid of these, we're not just establishing a path for the dragons, but we're also allowing ourselves to move through. So on screen, you're going to see the number of lightning spells that you need for each and every defense in the game. This is going to help you understand where or how many lightning spells you need here at Town Hall 12, but also if you're a lower end Town Hall like Town Hall 9 or 10 or 11 and you're looking to use lightning spells, this is a great chart for it, so make sure you screenshot it. It's going to help you guys a lot when using Zap Dragons all the way from Town Hall 9 all the way up to 13. So definitely, it's a really nice chart for you guys to understand. Now, when we are using this attack, we want to make sure that we're using the lightning spells to sort of create a funnel for us, hypothetically. We want to use them in order to sort of get down defenses around there, so stuff like multi-target infernos, air defenses like I've mentioned, but also things like maybe archer towers, bomb towers, other stuff around there that you can also mitigate with the lightning spells and the earthquake spells. So those are going to be the small things that you want to consider. For the most part, if you get rid of a large compartment and you've just got, you know, a lot of free space to use baby dragon or dragon to create the other side of the funnel, but what you're just looking for is to mitigate all of this by creating something that kind of looks like this for your dragons to enter in. A nice funnel for them to push into the town hall. Now you can do a Sui hero to get rid of air defenses if you feel the need to, or you can go ahead and use them to get rid of something like a wizard or a multi-target inferno if it's on the outside. If not, don't worry about it. Use the Sui hero to get rid of an air defense, but for the most part, you want to use the Stone Slammer along with the dragons and balloons to really get into the town hall compartment, take down an air defense if it's close to there, and then push yourself through. You want to use the Warden ability as well in order to provide a ton of support for your dragons, and you want to use the rage spells in the same front. Now the free spell can be used for absolutely anything. The Eager Artillery, it can be used for the multi-target inferno, a single target inferno, you name it. You can use it for absolutely anything, but you don't really have a lot of spell space after you use the lightning spells and the earthquake. Now, of course, it does depend on what you want to do with your spells, whether this be using 6 lightnings and 2 quakes. You can also bring 4 lightning, 2 quake, 10 lightning spells and 2 earthquakes. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You can bring those earthquake spells in the clan castle if they're not maxed, so make sure that you kind of really just adjust on the fly to different attacks. But for the most part, that is just going to give you guys the idea of how you guys can use these Zap Dragons at Town Hall 12. It's still a very powerful strategy, maybe not nearly as strong, which is why it's at number 3, but it is a great way for you guys to really understand how to use this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the number 2 attack strategy here at Town Hall 12. For the number 2 attack, we have got the Hybrid. It is very consistent and very strong, so it's definitely worth using. What about the base identification? Well, you want to try and look for the clan castle along with the town hall if you can. In this example here, we want to use the queen charge to get in for the town hall, along with this getting rid of the clan castle. So we want to get rid of these and also establish a funnel. Basically, by doing this, we are getting rid of this area and forcing our hybrid to kind of go into the base like this. Very simple, very basic. Now, you can also do something known as a Yeti bomb. This is going to be used in order to create just a little bit of pathing for both your hybrid and your queen walk or charge. That way, you don't have to worry about a single target inferno, and you can go ahead and lure out the clan castle. That way, you can easily deal with it with your queen walk or charge. Also, you can use lightning spells to get rid of the clan castle earlier, along with defenses like Expos, multi-target infernos, or the Eager Artillery. So definitely there are things here and there that you want to learn. If you haven't taken a look at the lightning spell chart, it's on screen right here if you haven't checked it out before. It's definitely going to be a really nice way for you to understand the use of the lightning spells, earthquake, and knowing how many you need. Now, going through this example is the queen walk version. You want to make sure that, or the queen charge version. So you want to create a funnel as much as you can. So using stuff like balloons or baby dragons or even E-drags are also really good, but it also depends on your army composition as a whole. And when you're using balloons, you're usually looking for defenses like that mortar on or cannon on the outside in order to get rid of it. Now, as you're kind of walking into the base, you've got the use of the super wall breakers to break yourself in. You want to do it earlier rather than later, or else your queen may start walking in the wrong direction. She may walk on the outside instead of walking in, so creating a funnel is huge. Now, when you're dealing with the clan castle, you want to rage up your queen and you want to use the poison spell. Now, in case that there are headhunters in there, a freeze spell is a great idea and you can use that in order to freeze them up. If you deal with if you use the lightning spells, you don't need to worry about the clan castle. But for the most part, you're going to be using that lightning spell to get rid of it. Now, you've also got the use of the siege barrack, and you'll see that use of the siege barrack a little bit later. But notice how we're creating just a little bit more of a funnel. While the queen starts to walk in for the town hall, we are already creating something that looks like this, and we're using the king to just establish a little bit more of a funnel, get rid of some of the trash buildings on the outside to get the miners to go right in, but we're using that siege barrack on the other side to create the funnel. Now you'll see the use of the miners, the warden, and the hog riders to move right into this part of the base. By using this, we are making sure that the miners and the hog riders are staying in the base, while also using the warden ability in order to protect them through a lot of heavy fire, like you see here: giant bomb, multi-target inferno, archer tower, the Expos, Teslas, a lot of damage in this spot. So we want to use the warden ability to push them through. On top of this, we also want to use the heal spells to provide more support for the hogs and the miners as they continue to push through a lot of heavy fire. So that is definitely something that you want to try and do. And when you're going up against a base design like this, where, you know, you're creating that funneling where you're able to create this L shape, you want to make sure that the miners and hogs, for the most part, are staying on the inside of the base until the very end. That way you're able to sort of still keep them in the base, keep them moving as they continue to push through. Other than that, though, you guys can still see he was able to easily get it done, and it is still a very simple attack strategy for you to do at Town Hall 12. I told you about a lot of different variations, and you could always mix and match as well, like using the lightning spells with the Yeti bomb or something like that. So other than that, though, let's go ahead and move you into the number one, the best Town Hall 12 attack strategy. The number one attack strategy has to be a Lavaloon. The Zap Lalo is so powerful, and this attack strategy is no joke. So what do you need to understand before using this? First and foremost, you're using the lightning spells to get rid of the clan castle most of the time. So, example here, we're using 6 lightning spells to get rid of mostly these defensive buildings here. We're establishing some pathing for our Lavaloon, but also we're going to be adding a queen charge. So getting rid of some of these buildings here, like you see, in order to kind of just whittle down the base is going to be very, very important. So you guys have already seen the chart on the number of lightning spells that you need, so make sure that you rely on those to kind of give you guys a good idea of what you should be doing with the lightning spells and how many you need. Now, when you're doing this attack, you can do a Sui hero. You can possibly do a Sui hero in for something like the multi-target inferno and wizard tower in the space, but instead of that, we're going to do a queen charge or a mini queen charge. I would suggest this if you don't have a max level queen, because usually Sui hero works better with high level heroes because you're able to get a little bit deeper into the base. But of course, you can always bring an ice golem or giant to tank for your Sui hero before your heroes start to take more damage. But typically, what you're doing with adding a queen charge is you want to use that charge to possibly get something down like the town hall if it's close. You can also use a king if there's an open compartment to get rid of a couple defensive buildings and even an air defense. You want to look at air defenses because you want to try and create pathing. So by getting rid of some of the defensive buildings here and having your pathing for your Lavaloon kind of be where these air defenses are is heavily important. You want to make sure that you're still moving everything through. That way you're able to sort of get a ton of value. So let's talk about the lightning spells. You will see the use of the lightning in order to get rid of the Clan Castle and the multi-target Inferno. By getting rid of these, we are allowing ourselves to sort of create some pathing necessary for this. We can even use it on a sweeper in order to sort of, help with our queen charge if we're going to be using one. Now in this case here, we're going to be using a couple balloons and the king to create one side of the funnel. That way our king is going to be able to work himself right in for this compartment. And while we're doing that, we can use the queen in order to push her way right in for the town hall by using a super wall breaker. We're going to use that super wall breaker in order to break her open to that queen compartment and take a look, or into the queen compartment, getting rid of her, but also getting rid of the town hall. And that is what's going to be very important here. So that's the reason to why a charge would be used. If we're able to get some decent value around where we want to sort of, use the lightning spells on the Clan Castle, get rid of the Town Hall and Queen with the Queen charge, we can take care of it with no problem. Now, in case that we do need to use a freeze, we can, or even use the ability, that's also completely fine. But we're getting rid of as much value as we can as we push through. Now, this is where you can start to use your Stone Slammer and your balloons. Before we do this, though, on screen, you're going to see the number of balloons that you need for each and every defense in the game. This is to one-shot them, but note that this should only be used when going up against, or when you're first sending in your Lavaloon. So you want to use them in a surgical way. So this is going to help you guys know the number of balloons in order to take down each of them as you're surgically placing them. And we're going to explain that within this video. So you'll see that we're using the slammer first. We use a couple balloons just to see where they're going and to soak up any seeking air mines. On top of this, we're using 3 to 4 balloons per defense as we want to try and get to these air defenses. So you'll see that 3 to 4 are moving in, and it always depends on the number of, or the defenses right behind them. And like I explained before, it's going to depend upon that. And you saw that certain defenses take a little bit more, so that's why you place more than just 3 or 4 in that group, and sometimes you could even place 5. Now, the warden ability here should be used in order to protect the balloons as they push through, and on top of this, you should use the haste spells to really get the balloons up to key defensive buildings like the air defense or even a Tesla farm. That way, it's less time shooting on the balloons and more of them going down. So you want to make sure that you are mitigating as much as possible. Other than that, though, that is your basic example of a Lavaloon. This example was actually also live on my streams on Twitch, so make sure that you guys are following me over there on Twitch. I do a lot of streaming over there, so make sure that you're giving me a follow. Other than that, though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell for more of my educational Clash of Clans content. Make sure that you guys go ahead and follow me on the social, follow me on Twitch, also join my Discord server. The link to that is in the description, and don't forget to use code CorruptYT in the Clash Champs shop to save 10% off your purchase. Other than that, though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.